Donald Trump's White House Crypto Summit, the most anticipated event in crypto history, is due to take place later on today.
President Trump says that the U.S. will move forward with what he calls a crypto strategic reserve.
The president says he'll make the U.S. the crypto capital of the earth.
Bitcoin caught up in the market volatility this week.
These moves come ahead of a potential strategic crypto reserve and the first ever White House Digital Asset Summit,
leaving many speculating on which US-based altcoins are going to see significant gains off the back of this event and into the rest of 2025. Well, in this video, I'm going to look at the more mainstream altcoins based in the US that are going to see some good gains from this meeting, and I'm also going to focus on 5 smaller cap altcoins that are also US-based, involved with Donald Trump, and potentially going to see some huge gains throughout the rest of this year. So do me a favor, hit that like button, and let's get into today's video. Now, after a fairly boring and quiet start to 2025, the year that was supposed to be the crypto bull market led by Donald Trump, a pro-crypto president, we haven't had much excitement at all. However, all of that has now changed because of Donald Trump's White House Crypto Summit that's taking place later today, where he'll be meeting with various industry leaders from the crypto markets to discuss the future plans of the US and the US's relationship with the blockchain. So before we discuss which altcoins we should be paying attention to, let's understand whether or not, even with good news, the altcoins would have the potential to see a significant pump following this event. Well, if you caught my video yesterday where I talked about the reason that we've been going sideways for the last 2 months, then you'll understand where I'm coming from. But in case you missed it or just need a recap, let's understand this. We, for the last 2 months, have been going through this Wyckoff reaccumulation schematic, which is a pattern that's been observed in global markets for the last 100 years or so. Then you'll understand that we are now at the test area, just after the spring. And you know what happens after the test. Now, this pattern takes place because of market manipulation. It's used and it is designed to shake people out of the markets to encourage more selling so that more smart money can accumulate in this area. And since we are very aware that market manipulation has been happening in a very big way, and Donald Trump, along with others, have been accumulating the likes of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other altcoins in massive quantity, it's pretty evident that we are probably ready to move up here. So if this news and positive news arise from this event at a time that we're looking like this on the charts, and not only that we've got liquidity now coming out of China, who've now announced that they're going to print $179 billion of stimulus, well, you can see that we are now arriving at the perfect storm with the perfect catalyst right in front of us. And you're like, yeah, whatever, get to the point, tell me which altcoins I'm going to buy because I'm feeling bullish once more. Well, you know how it is on this channel. We're not just going to give you the altcoins. We need to think about why each and every altcoin might have its time. Donald Trump made this tweet last weekend talking about a crypto reserve where he was going to hold XRP, Solana, and Cardano. Then after an hour, Eric Trump, Donald Trump's son, told him that he should probably have included Bitcoin and Ethereum. So right now on our list, we've got Bitcoin, we've got Ethereum, we've got XRP, Solana, and Cardano. These are pretty obvious. I think you'll agree. And if we jump across to this handy who's attending the White House on Friday list, then we can also add maybe some others to here. We can see in terms of crypto projects to pay attention to on the confirmed list, and this is as of today when I'm making this video. Not only have we got the CEO of Ripple, XRP up here, we've got Sergey Nazarov, the co-founder of Chainlink, on the confirmed list. Also, if we jump across to the unconfirmed, we've got Cardano, Solana, Ethereum, and a handful of others in this list. So this again confirms some of the information that we're expecting, okay? And as you know, in crypto, since we're already anticipating something happening, it doesn't always lead to the most exciting outcome once the news is released, okay? This is sort of a grey area though, because we haven't really got much of an indication about what is going to be discussed at this event and what we're going to hear from it, okay? So it's a tricky one, but we do already know that Donald Trump had big plans that included XRP, Cardano, Solana, Ethereum probably, HBAR, and a few others. How do we know this? Well, guess what? Straight after Donald Trump got elected back in November, which altcoins went absolutely bananas? XRP, Cardano, we saw HBAR having a good run. Solana had been having a good run already. Ethereum, still fairly quiet, but Ethereum is the kind of like the quiet one. So yes, these are the mainstream altcoins. I do see them having some upside into this bull market. But here's the thing, and this does upset a lot of people, whatever. XRP, $148 billion. with a B. That's big. Cardano, $31.5 billion. Chainlink, $10.6 billion. Solana, $67 billion. And since they've already been named on this list, and they've already seen a big pump, like we saw the other day when Donald Trump had that news announced, we saw that big push up. We saw Cardano going up like 70 or 80%. We saw XRP pumping about 36%. Solana having a good day. We are unlikely to see such absolute aggressive gains as we saw the other day from those particular coins because they were already anticipated. We already anticipate that they're going to be on the list. Do you get what I'm saying? Don't take it personally. If you're holding those altcoins, good for you. I'm sure you've made some good money and you will continue to make some money because they will be going up further. But I think for Solana, maybe there's a 4x in there after the recent pullback. I think for XRP, a 3x, maybe a 4x is crazy. If XRP does a 4x in this bull market, it means there is major liquidity in this crypto market and we are going to see massive gains across all altcoins. So I hope that XRP can manage that and maybe even more. I think Chainlink has a good run ahead of it, maybe a 5 or a 6x. But again, we're not going to see the most outrageous gains in some of these larger caps, I am afraid, but they will be safer, more reliable games. Now, there is a slight odd one out on that list, because Ethereum does have a bigger market cap than all of those coins. But unlike the other ones, Ethereum has been like the grey man in this bull market. Okay, no one's really been talking about it. No one really wants to kind of deal with Ethereum because it's supposed to be the coin that runs behind Bitcoin, and yet it's done really not much. Okay. Vitalik's been off singing on stage about various different things, and no one's really seen much going on with Ethereum. But it still remains having one of the biggest TVLs, if not the biggest TVL, has enormous volume all the time, and Donald Trump and his son keep accumulating it in the millions every single day. So where else do we go on this chart? Well, you can see this is a pretty handy chart provided to us by CryptoRank.io. And you can see made in the USA is all these ones in the middle. You can see Ethereum and Bitcoin on the outside. So I think the main focus for us right now should be the made in the USA bubble. Okay, we've got this one. Now, there are some other projects that are made in the USA that are not quite on this list. Now, top contenders that I think probably would be worth paying attention to, the likes of AVAX. Avalanche has been absolutely mind-blowing in some of the partnerships they've developed over the last few years, partnerships with Amazon. They're making huge inroads recently in gaming, in real-world assets. They're making major partnerships with huge finance businesses in the Middle East, and so much more. But AVAX does seem to be struggling a little bit in terms of trying to bring on-chain volume and other things going on right now. So I am a little bit unsure of AVAX right now, despite previously being quite keen on it, but I think it can still do quite well, but just not as well as these other coins that I'm going to talk about. First up, and in no particular order, SUI. $8.9 billion. Why have I decided to cover this first? Well, mainly because of the major news that got leaked earlier. And I say leaked, SUI actually just posted it on their Twitter page. Just trying to be dramatic. It's breaking news. We're excited to announce a partnership with World Liberty Finance, Donald Trump-inspired pioneering DeFi protocol. Okay, this is Donald Trump's fund, basically, and this is now partnered with SUI. This is very exciting, particularly as we move up to this event. You can see that the World Liberty Fund will include SUI in their strategic token reserve designed to bolster leading Web3 projects. Again, we've now seen this news event have pretty positive effect on SUI, but it still only sits there with an $8.9 billion market cap. Now, you might be made further aware of something right now. SUI has pumped a little bit today off this news, but nothing particularly reliable because the market makers and everyone are not really behind this. So if you're wondering whether the markets can really pump because of the lack of interest in these coins, remember, everything is being manipulated and the market makers will move the markets should they see fit. And with enough people right now feeling pretty bearish and worried, if you look at the fear and greed index, then there is a good chance that the market makers will move things the other way when people are feeling suitably depressed and worried about what's going to happen. So from my point of view, SUI looks pretty comfortable bouncing in and around this accumulation zone from this previous high here, this little sideways buy zone indicated here, and we're now getting a bounce. So what is SUI and why are we seeing it getting included in the strategic reserve? Well, SUI is a proof of stake blockchain, an ultra fast one in fact, which has been tested in the past to produce up to 297,000 transactions per second. Now, SUI is built by the team from DM, who was previously part of the Meta Libra project. SUI uses the Move programming language, which is thought of to be kind of like the Rust programming language 2.0. Rust is what's used on the Solana blockchain, but Move is a much simpler, developer-friendly kit for developers to use. Okay, so if we think about blockchains like Sui being a digital city, and we think about the decentralized applications or dApps being the buildings and services that are built within the city, then effectively what we're saying is the programming language is kind of like the building company who makes things very easy for different companies to come in and build whatever they want. This means that you can have a whole host of different applications ranging from DeFi to gaming and others, and it gives the developer lots of freedom to be able to create what they want. They can also create different variants of their projects and update projects as they go without having to fork the blockchain. Instead, they simply just do an upgrade. This is very important and very key to the development of Sui, and is why we've seen Sui becoming such an important name in crypto despite being quite young. TVL surging to $2 billion back in the start of 2025. At the moment, sat around $1.1 billion, which is pretty hefty. We've also seen at times the volume of Sui going absolutely crazy, reaching up as high as $6 billion on various days, and this is something to definitely pay attention to. So, in my opinion, this blockchain, with the number of different developments that are happening on it all the time, having now just being announced as being pretty much the only new crypto project, I think, of this bull market so far, to be featured on that list, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer that this one gets the nod from me. In terms of price predictions for the future, dangerous game. I do think that maybe an 8, maybe a 10x, should things go incredibly well, isn't too far away from possibility, given how this coin has performed so far. Now up next, and a very similar project to Sui, although not the same, and that is Aptos. Now Aptos is another team that again came from the DM project, okay, similar to what Mr. Labs came from, which is behind the Sui project. Aptos is another proof of stake layer 1, another ultra fast proof of stake layer 1, I should add, with a market cap of $3.5 billion, which you'll notice is much smaller than that of Sui. So why is it? Well, Aptos, with probably far more reputable VC backers, the likes of Binance Labs, A16Z, etc., was anticipated to be a stronger, better technology than perhaps Sui by a number of people within the crypto industry. They also managed to attract key partnerships with Google Cloud, Microsoft, and MasterCard. But unlike Sui, have perhaps struggled a little bit in terms of onboarding projects that are bringing in real volume. And that, I think, is shown perfectly here on DeFi Llama. Again, we can look at the TVL being very, very similar to what we're seeing on Sui, and in fact, very, very undervalued. And given the fact that the market cap of Aptos is about half that of Sui, this is a pretty impressive TVL to have. But the difference being, as I mentioned, is the volume. Right now, struggling to make $400 to $500 million of volume every single day. I say struggling, that's really not that bad at all. In fact, it's pretty incredible given the market caps that other altcoins out there have managed to get with very little volumes at all. However, one of the most interesting things, and why Aptos makes my list, is not only does it have a $3.5 billion market cap, but if you come down to the projects down below that are being built on Aptos, the biggest market cap ones here, their TVL is growing significantly, which means under the radar right now, while the Aptos price seemingly struggles, there is a lot of people moving into the Aptos ecosystem, and big money is potentially accumulating here. And as we can see, this makes for a very easy chart pattern. We are now in the accumulation area, just above this green box. In fact, the green box is the accumulation area. And from here, we will eventually see the price move higher, given that we are not for sure certain what happens in the short term, because you never know what can happen. We will eventually move higher. Why? Because global liquidity is coming into the market. China is the first to start doing that. We're seeing other countries around the world delivering liquidity into the market. So don't worry about whether or not we have to have interest rate cuts in the US, or whether we have to have inflation coming down, or whatever it is in the US. US will play a big part in that, and it will fuel the market later on. But right now, the liquidity that drives the market is coming from China and other countries. So we shouldn't worry too much, because in the shorter mid-term, we will see that liquidity arrive in the crypto markets. And whether or not tomorrow or the next day we're up or down doesn't really matter, because eventually we are coming out of here and we are going up here. Okay, this is pretty much how crypto works. We saw it back in 2017. China drove the market. As soon as the US dollar came down in value, other countries around the world will start to pump their cash into the markets. This is the DXY, the US dollar index right now, and it is dropping lower and lower, as you can see. Now, I think for Aptos, with a $3.5 billion market cap, I don't think it's impossible to see this pushing to a 10x, possibly more, during this bull market, and I think possibly gives us better gains from here than maybe Sui does. Mainly because Sui has outperformed Aptos much more recently. Now, if you're watching this video and wondering why you haven't heard a lot of these different things before, then guys, make sure you are subscribed to the House of Crypto, notification bell turned on, so that you can understand in more depth exactly why different crypto projects are moving at different times, and being able to spot indicators in the charts and in the data, like we did for Sui back in the last summer, where we won't just look into price charts, but we'll also look into data, we'll look into team updates and other news events that have the possibility ability to drive ahead growth in the markets. If you want to know different altcoins that you should be buying at different points of this market, when to be taking profits, when to be loading up, etc., then make sure you subscribe. And while you're at it, if you haven't already, just hit that like button. Thank you very much. Now on to the next one, and a much smaller market cap coin than the other ones I've talked about, but that's just because it's the new kid on the block, and it definitely needs to be paid attention to because it is one of the most interesting layer 1 projects out there. Now Quai Network is a proof of work layer 1 blockchain with a $70 million market cap, making it a fraction of the size of the other crypto projects I've talked about today. Now, as a proof of work blockchain, unlike proof of stake blockchains, it remains incredibly decentralized. And one thing that Quai Network has been able to do is being able to reduce the mining capacity for different individual miners to ensure that no miners have the ability to manipulate the market in any way, making this a truly decentralized project, probably unlike other proof of stake blockchains out there. Now, Quai Network, as a proof of work blockchain, is the fastest proven proof of work blockchain that is out there right now, with 50,000 transactions per second in testing. Now, it manages to achieve this using horizontal sharding and a multi-threaded approach, and it also maintains significant levels of security by using a unique proof of entropy minima, or POEM, consensus. Now, this is incredibly exciting because proof of work blockchains are really the only ones that have the potential to be able to solve the blockchain trilemma, because obviously the decentralization is a bit of a problem within proof of stake blockchains. And while there are other proof of work blockchains out there that say that they've done this, none of them out there right now have the ability to host smart contracts, and nor are they EVM compatible. And this is incredibly important because it means that developers can develop a range of different applications or decentralized applications that can be used across chain. Now, one of the most interesting things that makes Quai Network truly unique is that it has two different coins. The first is the Quai Network token, which works kind of like Ethereum network token does on the Ethereum chain, or Bitcoin works on the Bitcoin chain. Basically a store of value that's used for transactions, is used to pay the miners, etc. This token will go up and down in value along with the supply and demand and usage of the token, in the same way that any token goes up and down on a crypto project. But also within the Quai ecosystem is the Chi token, which is a stable coin, but unlike all other stable coins out there that are linked to the US dollar in value, the Chi token is linked to the energy prices. And this is a truly innovative feature because it means the coin remains stable throughout whatever happens in the markets or whatever happens outside of crypto, because when the supply and demand is going up and down on the Quai network, then Chi will adjust its supply to ensure that there is never a change in price and the supply and the demand are always met. The Quai token is like the digital gold. The Chi token is basically used as a way to send payments from one user to another and to pay for various different services on the chain should you want to. And because of this unique system, Quai Network is hoping to redefine the blockchain as a truly decentralized monetary system. Now, jumping across the Quai chart, it does look quite interesting. Obviously, the other day we had a launch, and in fact this coin, considering the rest of the market was bleeding, had a phenomenal launch, basically going up from its kind of initial sell-off a 360% move towards the upside. This to me caught my eye because new projects that are launching into bad markets don't tend to do so well, so it meant that lots of people were noticing this particular project. Obviously though, no project in crypto can sustain prolonged down periods, particularly new projects. But what we can see right now is the potential for a decent entry on this coin. We have had strong selling off here with the bigger red candles, but what we are starting to see here with these smaller candles is showing reduced selling pressure, and we can see with candles like this, buying pressure coming in. So I do believe at $70 million for a coin like this to go to the level that maybe Sui is at right now, that's literally more than 100x. So whether or not Quai can do 100x in this bull market is obviously up for discussion, but from this current valuation, given the level of technology behind this project, given that it is a US-based project, this to me seems like a little bit of a no-brainer, especially if we start to round off here and we start to see some more bullish price action coming in here. This could definitely be worth paying more attention to. And I will try and do more updates in more detail on the likes of Quai Network, on the likes of Sui, and I'll try and make full feature videos about individual coins. So if you want to know more about Quai Network, Sui, Aptos, whatever, then let me know down below which coin you want me to cover in full video breakdowns so that we can start to understand in real depth what these projects are doing. Next up on the list is Ondo Finance, coming in with a market cap of $3.6 billion. It's definitely not small, but it's definitely not that huge either. Now, Ondo Finance is fitting into the real world asset bracket, and in my opinion is a bit of a no-brainer. It's backed by some of the biggest names in traditional finance, finance and in crypto. Now, Ondo Finance is partnered with BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager and the company behind the Bitcoin ETF. Now, BlackRock currently has around $9 trillion of assets under management, which is about 4 times bigger than the market cap of Bitcoin. There's other names here we should pay attention to: Morgan Stanley, we've got Mantle, Polygon, Coinbase, you name it. This project is connected to everyone who it should be connected to. Now, Ondo Finance is basically providing a bridge between traditional finance and the blockchain. Now, with a team which is predominantly made up of ex-Wall Street veterans, Ondo Finance has been able to create some of the most state-of-the-art tools within the industry. Now, in terms of the traditional products that Ondo Finance works with, it's like US Treasury and other financial instruments that typically weren't already available for ordinary people to invest in. Now, their flagship project is the USDY, which is an interest-bearing stablecoin, which obviously doesn't sound that exciting, I know, but let me get on with it. Now, it offers users a stable yield of around 4.97%, I believe, annually, which for traditional finance is a pretty exciting yield, particularly as this is backed by US Treasuries and is also US regulated. Ondo has also launched the Ondo chain, which is designed for tokenization of assets, taking traditional assets and then tokenizing them so that you can interact with those assets on the blockchain. They've also played a really big part in the crypto world of enhancing the efficiency and compliance of integrating real-world assets into the DeFi ecosystem. Now, more recently, we've seen real-world assets such as Mantra going absolutely crazy, and that's why probably I'll be avoiding projects like that are already significantly higher. But Ondo was a project that everyone wanted a piece of back in December, only for it to then cool off, obviously, like we've seen most of the crypto market cooling off quite significantly. This pullback here is very healthy in my opinion, and now gives us a fairly classic pattern here. Okay, we're seeing it coming down towards the downside, but we are seeing some significant buying up happening over the last 24 to 48 hours in this area. This shows me that Ondo is definitely one to be paying attention to, and particularly with that relationship with BlackRock, I do see Ondo achieving some pretty great things in this bull market. Again, 10x, maybe? Things could be really exciting for projects like this. Who knows exactly where this bull market takes us? Right now, I know many of you are thinking that, yeah, this bull market is not even going to happen. But guys, have some patience. We are following a very similar run to what we saw in 2017. Donald Trump has been putting tariffs on different countries. It's causing some problems, some friction that's making people a little bit uneasy. But now with that dollar coming down, things are starting to look very much more positive than they were just last week. So it's time to get excited about the potential of what is ahead of us. Now, another coin I think worth paying attention to that I didn't really get a chance to feature right now because of the time and how long this video is going on for is movement. Okay, Move is a layer 2, again, using the Move programming language like Aptos, Sui, etc., that is built on Ethereum. So it's built and designed for Ethereum applications so that they're able to access the same high-speed technology that the Move programming language gives them or offers them. Right now, Move has a $1 billion market cap, I believe, at the time of checking this, $1.1 billion. But the most exciting thing that I've seen is that today, when Liberty Finance was buying Bitcoin and Ethereum, guess what else it was buying? Some Move. So if we look at the Move chart right now, obviously I will look at this in more depth when I get some more time, looking quite similar in a way to what we've just seen on the Ondo chart. Again, you can see it's starting to put in this bottom here, showing some bigger green candles down here. It's pretty positive. Obviously, if you wish to wait for something to happen, a bit more of a catalyst in the market, bigger green candles, then obviously that's the safest plan. Because obviously I know people don't like catching falling knives, as it's called. Ultimately, I don't think this is really, but if we get a bounce up here and we start to put in higher lows, this gives you a decent entry enough for Move. Obviously, go and do some research on it, and don't just go and buy in anything that I've talked about on this channel, because I might be wrong. Who knows, okay? But hopefully, having looked into this in some good detail, I think there's a good opportunity here. Now, in the short term, the very short term, who knows what happens after this event? Markets are being manipulated like crazy, so be very cautious. But what happens in the next few days shouldn't really matter to you, because what happens in the longer period of time ahead of you is what's important. And with liquidity flooding into the market, the dollar coming down, things are looking good. We're going to have a great bull market. Now, if you're feeling stressed or worried or whatever, you're probably spending too much time in crypto. With the weekend ahead of us, make sure you just turn off your computer, you get outside, go and enjoy yourself and get away from crypto. It makes trading crypto way more fun and interesting when you don't have to do it all the time. Now, if you wish to buy any of the different altcoins that I've talked about today, or any altcoins in general, but you are bored of paying incredibly expensive fees and you're also tired of being heavily limited limited by the different altcoins you can buy because you're only using Coinbase or Binance, then I highly recommend that you go and check out one of the non-KYC exchanges that I have linked down below. Non-KYC means you don't have to register your personal details to be able to use those exchanges. MEXC right now has 0% fees. If you use the link down below, you'll also get a big bonus. Bitunix and WEEX also have significant bonuses down below. You can sign up for each of these accounts if you wish, and then you can qualify for each and every one of those bonuses. Bit of a no-brainer in my opinion, because actually using multiple exchanges gives you not only more different coins to choose from, but it also gives you flexibility and security. So guys, make sure you go and check those out, all linked down below in the description. Thanks very much for watching this video. Smash that like button and I'll see you later on this weekend in another video. Bye bye.